The sound you just heard, created by progressive metal keyboardist Diego Tejeda, certainly is not a classic bass sound, but can be used for various music genres from hard techno to progressive metal. Here's a loop example with a simplistic techno beat, because I don't have time for a sophisticated progressive beat. But I couldn't resist to let you hear the sound variations you can get off of it. Look at the knobs at the bottom right and the mod wheel on the left to play with the sound. Pretty aggressive sound, as you could hear, but also very interesting because it uses additive synthesis to create this powerful pulsating waveform. It also uses an analog waveform to create a kick beat like this. Which sound probably better than the kick I use in the initial sequence. But we're not going to use it here anyway because we're focusing on bass sounds, remember? Now, if you're interested to know how Diego designed that kick using a sine wave, let me know and I'll do a video on it. Okay, so let's focus on the main sound with Engine 1. Pigments is one of the few synths out there to offer additive synthesis in its immense palette of features. As a reminder, additive synthesis basically consists in accumulating sine waves on top of each other to create a sound. I go through all the technical details behind this in other videos if you're interested. Anyways, the sine waves we're going to add are called partials. The idea is to have one sine wave which carries a note frequency and all of the sine waves which have frequencies multiple of the note frequency, which creates a timbre. The result is a sawtooth wave, which gives us the aggressive sound we're looking for. I'm going to do it progressively here so that we can view the exact building of the sound. The vertical bars on the top represent the odd partials sent to the left channel, and the ones on the bottom, well, you guessed it, the even partials sent to the right channel. A frequency modulation is applied to the signal to make it a bit more interesting, with the amount of modulation being given by a function, here function 1. The cluster function here on the left is used to select one or several bunches of partials and change the partials' density inside each cluster. That is, how close or far apart they are generated inside a cluster. The net effect is to create inharmonics and therefore more movements in the sound. And in this sound, initially there is one cluster with one partial in it, so there is not much movement. But we can create three partials in the cluster, and changing their relative positions can have some drastic effect. And of course, you can modulate it using, for instance, LFO3 square wave. The final touch will be the effects section as usual, where we can add some distortion to emphasize the sound aggressivity, and then of course some compression that we can modulate using LFO2 sawtooth to create this perfect pumping effect. A lot can be added to that great sound as we just scratch the surface here. For instance, we could play with a built-in comp filter here. And Diego added velocity, aftertouch, and module as sources of other modulations too. As always, sky is the limit.